If you're just joining us, we're Derek and Ashley traveling full-time in our van with our pup Pete. This Alaska series has already been wild. We drove the Cassiar, crossed into the Yukon, tackled the Dempster Highway all the way to the Arctic Ocean, partied in Dawson City where I even took a shot with a human toe at the Sourdough Saloon. We patched a flat tire, cleaned out what felt like pounds of dust and mosquitoes, then crossed into Alaska at one of the most remote borders in the US. From there, we celebrated July 4th in Quirky Chicken, Alaska, where Ashley jumped into a strong woman competition. After that, we decompressed for a week in Fairbanks, caught up on repairs with an oil change, and even got our windshield fixed. And finally pointed the van south, and now here we are, ready to explore Denali National Park, one of the crown jewels of Alaska. The town of Denali is small, but it's the hub for all things park related. It sits right along the Alaska Railroad, which brings in loads of summer visitors. The permanent population is under 300, but each summer thousands of workers arrive to support the tourism season. Nearly 500,000 people come through Denali National Park every year, and most of them pass through this town first. You'll find everything from gift shops and outfitters to restaurants, coffee spots, and shuttle services. Right along the river, we watched a kayaking group head out, and that's just one of many adventures you can do there. There's rafting, flight seeing, ATV tours, even zip lining. It really is the kind of place where you could spend a few days just outside the park itself before even stepping foot inside. The atmosphere is lively, especially in summer, and you can feel the buzz of everyone chasing their Denali dream. Well, we made it. We're arriving at the Denali sign, and it was one of those pinch me moments. We stopped to grab photos, and while waiting for another group to finish, we actually got to chat with the family also traveling through Alaska. This kind man offered to take our picture together, which meant we didn't have to rely on ourselves taking some selfies. Small interactions like that are what make traveling special. Sometimes the simplest stops bring the best connections.
We are about to be pulling up to Denali National Park in Alaska.
So today we are getting onto the bus. We're actually doing the transit bus, not the full-on tour, which is about 4 hours long. That's $150 to do the tour that has the bus driver talking to you and talking about the history of the park. We're just doing the transit bus, which was only about $33 a person, and it takes you just as far. So it's going to take us out to the 41-mile mark. Currently, that is the farthest that you can go because there was a landslide a few years back and they still hadn't fixed that. With the transit bus, you can get off and get on at any point. You just let the bus driver know when you want to get off, and they'll just pull right over, let you off. You can go hike around, do whatever you want. So that gives us a little more leeway, freedom of just exploring the park more. I don't know if we're going to be getting off. We might just drive all the way out, see if we can see some nature as we're exploring Denali National Park into the heart of the park.
Now, we will have to leave Pete in the van, and he's already shaking and nervous. So we gave him his trazodone, which is going to be like a sedative. Unfortunately, I hate giving it to him. But if it's going to help him relax, then that's what we will do. The old Trazzy-Dazzy.
We just parked in the bus depot parking lot, left Pete 4.5 hours. This is probably the longest we've ever left him alone.
Breaking my heart, shattering it to pieces.
But we have the vent going, so it's going to be nice and cool. We should be getting some rain, which sucks for our wildlife viewing, but it'll be good for him because we'll get some cloud cover. It is a little warm, but yeah, our vents will take care of him. He'll be okay. But we left him a ton of treats, so he's on the search right now. So now we gotta go to the bus depot, get our tickets, because we made the reservation online for 3 o'clock until 7:30. So 4.5 hours. We'll go inside and then we'll take off.
Bear spray
In our bag.
inside the backpack. My name is Dalen. I'm here to welcome you to the amazing Denali National Park. I am one of the incredibly lucky people to have been born and raised here, just through that canyon there. I was born in an actual hospital, not the canyon itself. I've lived in a couple other states across the country, but this one is by far my favorite. It's the only place I really call home. And of course, I'm not the first. The Athabascan peoples have cared for this land for thousands of years, and the gold miners and hunters followed them. Now it's up to all of us to carry on that tradition of caring for the land. And I invite you, whether your stay is a few hours, few days, however long, to also consider this place your home. I hope you enjoy this land just as much as I do. It's one of the most unique wilderness you'll ever find in the world. And make sure you're listening to your driver. They'll keep you safe. Hopefully.
Thank you.
The transit bus is hands down the best budget option in Denali. For $33, you can ride all the way out to mile 41. Right now, that's the farthest you can go because of a landslide past Polychrome Pass. Private cars are only allowed up to mile 15 at Savage River, so the bus is your only way to see deeper into the park. The ride itself is long, about 4.5 hours out and back if you don't get off, but it's part of the adventure. The scenery is vast and rugged, and even if the wildlife is far away, there's something about being surrounded by that much wilderness that sticks with you. We just made it to the end of the road. Even with the transit bus, they allow you to get off and enjoy yourself for like 20 or 25 minutes. So it's nice to just stretch out our legs, and we're down by the riverbed area, and there's grizzlies that are known to be in this area. So we're keeping our eyes peeled for that. We did see some caribou as we were coming down there drinking out of the water. So this is really cool. It's so beautiful here, but we can't go any farther because of the landslide that occurred a few years back. They're still working on that. So you can't do the whole 90 plus miles. You're only getting to about mile 41, 42. And then we turn around and we're gonna make our way back to the park. All right, we got to get back to the bus because it's about to leave in like 5 minutes. So we got to hike these stairs and then get back onto the bus, find our little spot. Whew, what is this, like 52 steps? I actually counted 59 steps.
But you're distracting me with the counting.
Oh. So we lucked out because the transit bus, they don't need to talk at all on it, but our driver's been talking like the whole time.
Not like a lot, not like bad.
Yeah.
A good amount.
Yeah. It's only $33 for this. And she's been talking, sharing some history and just like stuff about the landscape. It's better than her just being mute the entire time. It's also important to recognize that this land has been home to Alaska Native people for thousands of years. The Koyukon Athabascans were the ones who gave the mountain its original name, Denali, which means the high one. That name carried deep cultural meaning long before outsiders arrived. In 1896, during the Gold Rush era, a prospector named the mountain Mount McKinley after then presidential candidate William McKinley. The name stuck for over a century, even though McKinley never set foot in Alaska. For many Alaskans, especially indigenous communities, that name never felt right. In 2015, the US government officially restored the name Denali. Still, you may hear both used, and some people continue to prefer Mount McKinley. It's controversial in some circles, but out of respect for the First Nations people and the history of this land, we choose to call it Denali. That's the name that has always belonged to it. Our driver wasn't a tour guide, but she did stop whenever wildlife appeared, which was awesome. On our way in, sightings were scarce, but the real highlight came on the ride back. We saw multiple brown bears in the distance and even caribou lying on the patches of snow to stay cool. The driver, who has worked in the park for over 30 years, told us that this behavior has become more common in recent years as summer gets hotter. Just one of the real impacts of climate change she's witnessed firsthand. We also picked up hikers along the route, which is one of the unique perks of the transit system. You can hop on or off at different points, but it's important to plan carefully because if you misjudge the timing, you could be stuck waiting a long time or even stranded as night falls.
Okay, trash can is in the recycling containers and deck around to the right.
For the campground? Oh yeah, no, around the deck to the right. The parking lot's in the back of the building.
Thank you.
Campground is down that path.
We just got in on a Denali. Now we're gonna go check out some of the gift shops, maybe some bars, restaurants. They're right outside the park, like a mile down the road. So it's so convenient if you're looking to get something to eat. You don't have to go far at all. Back in town, Denali shops are fun to wander. You'll find everything from local crafts and souvenirs to quirky adventure gear and plenty of restaurants and bars. It's the kind of place where you bump into the other travelers, swapping stories over coffee or beers, and if you're planning excursions like rafting, flight tours, or guided hikes, this is where you'll book them. It's a tourist town for sure, but has a good energy, and after being in the quiet of the park, it's a nice change of pace.
Gift shops are cute. They're all a little bit different, so you're not going to see the same stuff over and over like some towns will do. There's a lot of locally made things too, and things that you won't be able to find elsewhere. Like, it was like caribou antler earrings, slices of them, things with bear claws, things with walrus tusks. Some interesting things. It's a big moose. It's a big animal. We've seen moose!
That was amazing. That was so cool. They were right on the side of the highway, so we had to pull way off the road just to make sure that we weren't getting hit, because people were going fast on that highway. And we just hung out, saw the mama moose
And two babies.
Two babies. That
Eating
was so
away.
neat.
They didn't care about us. Oh, it was so cool.
And then just like any park, everybody started pulling off. So we got a ton of photos in, did some videos, and then got the heck out of there. Because as we were leaving, there was maybe like 6 other cars that were like pulling off the side of the road.
And they're not pulling off properly. They're still sticking in the road, and they're getting out of their car. So, time to go.
Yeah, don't need to be a part of that mess. No police reports tonight. Well, after such a long day, we are over at 49 State Brewing. And I've seen nothing but great reviews about this place with the food, and their beer has like so many award-winning beers. So I can't wait to be testing out this stuff. And they also have a mock-up of the van that was in Into the Wild, where the guy goes up to Alaska and he lives out of his van when he passes away. That van is actually in Fairbanks. We didn't get to see it because it wasn't on display, so I guess this will just have to do. Now let's talk about one of our favorite spots, 49th State Brewery in Healy. Just a short drive from the park entrance, this place is well known across Alaska for its award-winning beers like the Solstice IPA and the Smoked Marzen, which have picked up medals at major competitions. But one of the most unique things here is the replica Into the Wild bus parked outside. The original bus was used as a shelter by Christopher McCandless, whose story was told in the book and film Into the Wild. He ventured into the Alaskan wilderness in the early 90s and sadly passed away after becoming trapped by the rising Teklanika River. His story became both an inspiration and a cautionary tale about the power and danger of Alaska's wilderness. Okay, we're gonna go check out the restaurant now. The actual bus was removed from its remote location in 2020 for safety reasons, and it's now housed at the Museum of the North in Fairbanks. But this replica lets you step inside and feel the history in a more accessible way. In a place like this, inside the brewery itself, the atmosphere is lively, with locals and travelers alike swapping stories over pints. The food is just as impressive. Big portions, hearty dishes, exactly what you crave after a long day outdoors.
We got the Riley Creek flatbread, and it has crab meat, bacon, this cream cheese sauce, pico de gallo, jalapenos, radishes, cilantro, bacon. Did I say bacon? There's a lot going on, but it works, and it is really good. Chef's kiss.
One of the highlights of Denali is the Sled dog kennels. These dogs aren't just a show, they're working dogs that play a vital role in the park during winter. For over a century, rangers have relied on them to patrol, haul supplies, and reach areas that no machine could safely handle.
All right, hi y'all, how's it going? My name's Ranger Bridget, and welcome to the dog kennels. Before we disembark this bus, I got a couple quick logistics for you. First things first, you need to grab all of your personal belongings. This includes all of your family members as well. You will not be getting back on this bus when you do go back to the visitor center. Third things third, once you arrive in the dog yard, you'll notice on one side there are dogs in pens. Please do not stick your fingers through the chain link fence. We don't want anybody getting nibbled on. It's confusing for our dogs. If they want to be pet, they'll come to that chain link fence. They'll lean up against it and you can scratch them that way. On the other side of the dog yard, you'll notice there's a big long rope fence. Those dogs, you can also go up and greet them. Again, wait for them to come to you. And you can lean over that rope fence, but please do not step over that fence. And we also want to encourage good behavior for these dogs. So if they're jumping and barking and they're too excited, please have them calm down and then go visit a different dog. Sometimes they get stressed out with how many people they see. So it's not really your fault, but we want them to be able to settle in to the rhythm. Finally, our dogs are elite athletes, which means that they are on a special diet. So please do not feed our dogs anything. That means don't feed them any food, but also don't feed them any hats, gloves, scarves, purses, bags, etc. No small children, please. So just make sure to be keeping them safe that way. And then I see a couple young faces. Is there anybody who's 9 years old or younger? I got some special instructions just for you guys, so eyes up here. I need you to keep your parents on a tight leash. So make sure that you are holding on to your grown-up's hand the entire time you're in the dog yard.
We just got to the dog kennel and we're about to meet all of the huskies that are used, especially during the winter time, to get supplies out into the park and picking them up. So we get to meet them now.
I'm here to save all the babies. I'll talk about that later.
The program is free and it's well worth the time. You'll want to catch the bus about 45 minutes before the presentation so you have time to visit the kennels first. The talk lasts around 45 minutes and afterward you can spend around 15 to 20 minutes hanging out with the dogs. Seeing them run a demo loop is incredible. The power and excitement they have is contagious, and being able to pet them and walk through their kennels gives you a real sense of the bond between these dogs and the rangers who work with them. It's one of those experiences where you'll leave with both a smile and new respect for what makes Denali so unique.
Raise your hand if you've heard of Balto or Togo or the antitoxin delivery to Nome. Yeah. So this is a really crucial part of what it means to be an Alaskan and live up here in the Great White North. And it's not just racing dogs that still exist. We still have people that live a traditional subsistence lifestyle, even in this area. There's a community called Lake Minchumina that's a little ways west of here. Folks are still living off of the land the way that their ancestors have for generations. And they still use sled dogs to haul freight, things like mail and resources and food and anything, and even transportation. They're still using their sled dogs in that traditional way. So, hey, Kennels team, why don't we show these folks what sled dogs look like today, huh? Now, our dogs love to run. This is the best part of their job. And so it's probably going to get a little loud. It's going to get a little noisy. What they're going to do is once they're hooked up, they'll take off down this dirt path. They're going to do one lap. What can we say? We're only human, right? Sometimes we lose the trail. Now, not only do we have park rangers working here at Denali National Park, we also have bark rangers, and that is what our sled dogs do. Now, these are dogs with jobs. They know how to work modern technology in order to access that park. And so instead of using a plane or a snow machine to access those areas, we take our dog sled team out and use them for like a very pretty traditional purpose. We use them to break trail for any intrepid winter visitors who are skiing or snowshoeing. They are also helping us with construction projects and trails. You can haul lots of materials out in the wintertime and then wait for it to melt out to construct whatever it is that you need to build. Now, you might notice that these dogs are pretty fluffy. They actually have 2 coats. Does anyone have 2 coats on right now? Yeah, these guys do, and they're really, really warm. But in the wintertime, those 2 coats are super important. They've got kind of a soft, fluffy undercoat and a coarser overcoat, and that's going to keep them insulated against all of the different weather conditions that they might encounter. They also have really large, fluffy tails, and those are important too. A tail kind of can act like a scarf that you can drape over your face in cold winter nights. And that's going to protect your gums and your nose and your eyes from frostbite and anything else that the elements might bring you. You notice they have really big paws. They're super strong. Those paws are compact, so it keeps ice crystals from forming in between their toes. It helps them maintain their balance on uneven trails. Oh, we're going to go ahead and send Manny back. He's a little anxious out here. Manny is 83 pounds. He has spent 241 miles on patrol. And he has been adopted into our kennel from a different area of Alaska. So he is kind of just now joining us, which is why he has so few miles. We'll hear a little bit more about our other dog's mileage in just a moment. A lot of stamina and endurance in order to be able to pull a cart that can weigh 300 or 400 pounds over long distances. And in fact, they are actually huskies. These guys are called Alaskan Huskies. And you might be thinking that, they all look pretty different. You might see lots of other breeds represented in their features. And that's because there's no standard for an Alaskan Husky, according to the American Kennel Club. They are bred for their strength and their endurance, their ability to do the job that they need to do. They're not bred for their good looks. And so we have a lot of dogs that might look a little different from each other, but are all really, really good at their job. And a lot of their job involves working in a team. They're a very important part of our team, and they have a lot of different positions. So here in the very front, we have our lead dog. And a lead dog we sometimes assume is like a lone wolf that's like super independent and breaking the trail and like, kind of this alpha. But in reality, a lead dog works really well with their musher. They listen to the human's commands. They are good at finding a trail when they can't see one in front of them. They're usually really smart and really social and good at getting along with other members of the team as well. Behind our lead dog, we have our swing team. The swing team is a great place for dogs who have a really positive attitude. Dogs that are upbeat and motivating. They can motivate the back. They can also motivate the front. This is another great place for our new dogs to start learning the ropes and understanding how it works to be a sled dog. And then finally, in the very back, we have what's called a wheel dog. And the wheel dogs are usually really extra strong. They're going to help get the cart moving. They're going to pull the bulk of their weight. And so those dogs are really tough and really strong and able to go for really long distances. Now these guys help keep our park running, and so now it's time for them to run back home. And as they do, I'm going to give them a proper athlete send-off. This is Boomer. Boomer's part of our swing team today. He weighs 83 pounds, and he has done 4,658 miles as part of our patrol. All right, next up at the very front, this is Merlin. She's about 70 pounds, and she has pulled 4,370 miles in this dog patrol team. She's also the mama of those puppies you see in here. And last but not least, we've got Spark back here. Now Spark was named after, she's part of a fire litter, so there's Spark, Char, and Blaze. They all kind of have themed names. Spark is 81 pounds, and she has ran 1,540 miles.
Courage to get up again in an armful of a friend. Between walls we both know oh so well. Now's the time he stops pretend. La 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 la. I'm smiling, what is happening? La 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 la. Oh my God, there's my light, dressed every day. His well-known eyes makes me, oh my God, how come I've never felt like this until his kiss, singing, oh my God, oh my God.
It's so soft.
The first dog that figured out how to get over that half board.
Oh, really?
Jump down on her. But I've never realized
That experience was amazing. There's a lot of talk about like the history of the dogs, and I'm sure everybody was just like, okay, let's get into meeting the dogs. But you get to meet them when you first get there, and then after the show you have like 15 minutes before the bus leaves. So we're hiking over to get to the bus now.
You smell the dogs on me? I just walked in and Pete stopped giving me kisses so he could smell the dogs on me. He knows I cheated. I'm a cheater, Pete. I'm so sorry. Will you forgive me? Oh, okay. I'm being forgiven. It tickles. Alright, it is time for me to talk about what I thought of the sled dogs. So I went kicking and screaming. I'm not a fan of this. I understand the history and the cultural significance. I just don't see why we're still using dogs for our sake. I have a million questions about how they're treated and things like that. So I went to it anyways. It's the National Park Services, so we read about it and I agreed to go. I'm a huge animal lover, so I was loving on them and cuddling them as much as I could, but I'm not a big fan of it. I feel like animals should have free will, and being trained to do something, even if they love it, it was conditioned into them, so it's not like they would seek out running in a straight line and pulling stuff. That's not in their nature. I understand that they love it now. They were trained to. Positive reinforcement is fine, but it's still not in their nature to do that. But it's just me. I'm weird like that because I'm like that with my own dog. There's things like I don't make him do anything. I want him to be able to have his own life. and then I am also a meat eater, so it doesn't make sense. So that's just me.
We just got over to the Savage River area. We were gonna do a hike, but the parking lot was completely full. So we pulled off just before that area to a nice little pull off, and we got to see it. Mount Denali is off in the distance. There's no cloud cover. You're not gonna be able to see it because it's still pretty far out there, but it is completely ice capped, snow and everything. At over 20,000 feet, we can definitely see it from here. We've been here for probably like 4 or 5 days now, and we finally got to see Mount Denali. And only 33% of the people that visit Denali get to actually see the mountain. Next time on Vanderson Vibes, we'll be seeing Denali from a whole different perspective, by air. We're taking a flight with Talkeetna Air to circle Mount Denali and even land on a glacier. So make sure you're subscribed and following along because this Alaska series is only just getting started. From the road to the skies, we're chasing the adventure every week, and we'd love to have you along for the ride.